Rocky. Rocky says good morning to all of you out there. It is day 7, the final day of this week on a budget. This has been a great week on for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it in the conclusion when we're actually done with this day. It is breakfast. We've got 3 interesting things to do because it is a weekend. So no sandwiches, no oatmeal. Going to do some newer stuff today. Ran out of a lot of ingredients over the last 2 days, but everything's going fairly good according to plan. And we will see what today brings. So let's start with a little preparation before breakfast, though. Yes, so last night Gail finished off the last of the Kool-Aid, so we have one more packet left. She wanted to save this one for last, which is the blue raspberry lemonade. So we'll make that and have that stored away. And since it's the last day, I'll probably just have some for both lunch and dinner in this case. On second thought, maybe I won't have any for lunch because an amazing thing happened. We ran out of sugar on hand. So I only had enough sugar to make this much. Oh well, that'll be enough to last what I would normally have anyway. So we'll store that away. Well, this is certainly going to be the most interesting experimental concoction of the day. The other ones will be interesting too, but not nearly as interesting as this one because potatoes, the 2 types of bread, the rest of the egg, tea, of course, part of the last bell pepper. I'm not going to use all of it. What are all these ingredients going to make? We're doing skillet hash. Yes, we're going to make hash with eggs and toast. Just 1 slice of toast, but which means we'll have plenty of bread left over, at least on my end. But this is going to be interesting. Probably not the hardest necessarily thing that I've done. But again, another experiment. So hopefully that'll go really well like a lot of these have gone. Cutting up the bell pepper right now. We're going to use half of it. Put the other half away for later. We've got my toast in here waiting to be cooked. Gail's not doing any. Got the tea waiting to be done. Eggs for the later step. Colander for draining. Sheet for air drying. Got the different pans and the one that has potatoes in it getting ready to boil. And we've got everything in motion. Potatoes are currently boiled and drying off while I'm softening up these bell peppers with a little bit of onion powder. And then we're going to combine that, fry that together, add some more little bits of seasoning and whatnot. The hash will be done. We'll start working on the eggs. Oh my, that was a lot going on there. So I added everything to it, cooked it, got the toast done, put a little bit of the jelly that we had on hand, and I did the egg. It really got ready to be flipped real quick, but it looks like what it's supposed to look like, so I'm happy with what it looks like. Now the question is, how does everything taste? Well, first off, there it goes. Oh, that looks perfect. All right. So we'll dabble a little bit of that. Pretty good. I think this turned out pretty good. Toast. A little overdone because I left it in there, which kind of makes it over toast a little bit, but it's fine. It's personal preference, really. no butter on it because I ran out of butter cooking the eggs. So, is what it is. And pretty darn good.
Alright, so I got my skillet hash and egg. Ooh. Did a little burst.
Yeah.
Not the juiciest, but it's okay.
I probably cooked yours just a little bit longer, but I just wanted to make sure that it was cooked enough.
Yeah.
Mine, I think, was pretty decent on that.
Good skillet hash.
All right, a little work done this morning, a little cleaning up, and we are now ready for lunch. And lunch and dinner and breakfast too, in a way, are basically about just finishing off a lot of the stuff that we have. We will have some leftovers. There's some bread, there's some tortilla shells and whatnot that we will have. Probably we'll have some rice left over and whatnot. But we are basically using a bunch of stuff that we've already utilized for a sort of smorgasbord of different leftover based items. Breakfast was evident of that, and a big part of it as well, because we are going to take our leftover broth, leftover broccoli, mushroom, carrots, our corn and green beans and peas and more carrots, and we are going to combine all that into a vegetable soup for lunch. Also, the other half of this bell pepper as well. So, fairly simple. We're going to combine ingredients. I am contemplating the idea of doing a little bit of a blending. We'll see how everything goes, and doing that as well together. So, pretty simple. Just added all the remaining vegetables and the rest of the stock. The only thing I didn't use all of was the peppers, because I really didn't want like a ton of pepper in that, and there was a half thing, so I used about a quarter of that. And we've got ourselves a nice little soup brewing, and we'll let that start heating up a little bit. So currently using the blender to kind of cut down it a little bit. All right, and here it is. I've got water, and I got me a couple of the end pieces to do with the soup. Just figure that's a good way to do it. Just have that as a dipper. And that works well for that. This is really good bread, by the way, which I'm kind of surprised the flavor of it being what it is, considering the fact it's wheat. You can see the steam emanating from this is quite hot. So that may affect it. I did really like how mashy the vegetables are on this.
Do I have to tell you everything?
So let's try this. So it is a vegetable soup. Plenty of vegetables in it. Not super flavorful because it's just plain chicken stock. Got a few little ingredients added to it. But it's good. I like vegetable soup just as a general rule of thumb. Maybe not the best that we've ever had, but plenty good. And so it's going to satisfy my lunch cravings.
Soup. Let's give it a try. It's pretty good. Nice vegetable soup. Very good.
Just finished editing the next Trojan pair tries with me and Gale. Spending most of my afternoon working on that and some work around the house before dinner. It is dinner time. Time for the final meal. And we do have dessert. But what are we having? Well, again, continuing with the theme, finishing off or drastically reducing several of our items. We've got rice, salsa, beans, leftover fajitas. We're having a rice medley. Simple stuff, microwave, bunch of stuff, put it together. That's all there is to it. But it should be pretty tasty. Here it is, the last meal, combination of all our different things. And of course, some of the Kool-Aid. Very nice. And now, here we go. Tastes really good.
All right. Last dinner. We've got some kind of rice and beans with some of the leftover chicken from last night's meal. Chicken peppers, got some salsa on top. I love black beans, so this should be pretty good. Get in as much as I can. All right. Bon appetit.
This is it, the last of it. We are going to take the yogurt, just a little bit of the morsels, we'll have some left over. The rest of the strawberries and raspberries, which I'm still currently working on the strawberries. And we're going to just have fruit with yogurt and a little bit of chocolate drip over it. Sounds pretty good for a final meal. And there it is. Not a whole lot, but it is what it needs to be. Grab one of each. Sure, I get a little bit of that on there. Here we go. Pretty much is what it is. Got the yogurt, got the fruit, got a little bit of the chocolate. Nice little meal for dessert for our last of this little week on. We'll have the aftermath after Gale tries hers.
Okay. Well, last dessert. Yogurt and fruit and chocolate. And we'll see how it is. Very good.
Alright, I'm going to go first. 224.8. That is, I think, 5.5 pounds I lost. That is 176, so that's 4. Well, that was the week on a budget. Took some liberties, of course, with the budget, but then again, I didn't do anything that Jevons didn't do himself. So,
the food was delicious. I don't think I've had such nutritious food in quite a while. Lots of home-cooked meals and some fresh ingredients, which was really nice. It was difficult the first day or so, but after that it got a lot better.
Yeah, some of our meals got a lot bigger towards the end, but that was kind of what I figured would happen when a lot of the ones that I wanted to do kind of fit our general eating schedule of how I kind of set foods up were kind of the bigger ones, and they were at the end. And also with leftovers, if you have a lot of leftovers, you're trying to get rid of it, which normally you might not try to do. So we might have had even more leftovers than what we did. We didn't have a whole lot left over. I would say that this is the reason that I really wanted to get in the recons with something like this, because what I was able to experience myself personally, since I was the one preparing most of the foods, is it was a real good learning experience. It was very stressful initially because it was a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. You know, you have to make sure that you stay within that $40 budget, know exactly what you're going to eat. And then the biggest one was I didn't want to do just simple stuff like the same thing every day. Like even when we had oatmeal, it was like different fruits that I wanted to do each day, or chocolate. Same thing with sandwiches. Even though 3 of the days were egg salad, I put something different each day in the egg salad. So I wanted to kind of at least make it not too boring of a thing to where at least it wasn't that way. Also did a lot of new things to me, or things that I haven't done very often. Things like the lasagna was something I've never done before. The French fries. There were several things, and so.
How about that homemade tomato soup?
Yeah, that was one that I wish I could have gotten. That was the one thing that I feel like I didn't quite follow things exactly on that, and so I just kind of added too much of one thing. But it still was good. Don't get me wrong.
It ended up delicious.
But personally, I felt like that could have been much better in that regard. The grilled cheese was good with it too. I don't do that too often personally because somebody else usually has always done it. But that was the great thing, you know, being able to expand my abilities, even though I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I think I know the basic ingredients. Some of these dishes were inspired by Jevons himself that he did on the week on the budget. The chips, the French fries kind of were too. He did the lasagna, but he did obviously a different variation of lasagna. But still, a lot of those ideas kind of came from him, and some were just ones that I came up with on my own that I wanted to do. And some of these things really, I think, helped me say like, oh, well, you know what? If we have things like a bunch of fruit and I don't feel like just eating a little bit of fruit, I can make them into like a smoothie. Because I found out ultimately doing those things were really quick, really easy. And if you got the few amount of ingredients, worked really well on that. There was, to me, there was certain things too in this. It really, just like the first diet did, it started training my body now to where I kind of want to do certain things differently in my regimen in the future. So like I've always drank orange juice in the morning, and that oftentimes substituted for any fruit that I had. But having to do tea in the mornings, I've actually found out I really enjoy drinking tea in the morning a lot. And so I might start doing that with like some kind of fruit variation for breakfast in the morning a lot more, which would be a lot better. Or even utilizing those smoothies or whatnot. And the sandwich variations, being able to do an egg salad sandwich. I've never done that before. And so now I know how to do that. So I think for people like you out there, that if you're not used to doing stuff, I think being able to experiment, don't be afraid to fail somewhat or not do things perfectly the way you want, because you can still be really good. The gluten-free pizza, not the pizza was good, but the lasagna did not turn out at all the way that I was anticipating it to, because I didn't have enough of the ingredients available for the budget to do it. But my God, that was the best thing that I think I came up with on that.
I was going to say that I actually think my favorite thing had to have been that tomato soup and grilled cheese. I know you were a little disappointed with how that tomato soup turned out, but honestly, it was really good.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the things that we did that were real good hits on this. Breakfast wise, the skillet hash I think was probably my favorite one. The omelet was close to. I mean, look, everything was good, but there are just certain ones that just stand out to me. The skillet hash we did on day 7 was great. For lunch, lunch was kind of tricky. I don't know that there's anything that in particular stood out so much more than the other for lunch.
For me, honestly, I think that tomato sandwich with the Thousand Island dressing was the one that really stood out the most.
I kind of have to say, look, I've had 100 tomato sandwiches, so that's no surprise to me. But yeah, honestly, I love a good tomato sandwich, so that I can't disagree with that at all. Dinner wise, I'm sorry, the lasagna, that was the best one. And there was some amazing options. The lasagna, the pizza, the steak burgers. Those were like so great. And then, of course, there was also, to me, the baked potato I thought was really good. I know you weren't a huge fan of the baked potato.
Yeah, I don't like dried potatoes. I like mine drenched in butter. Well, which we did not have enough butter to drench mine in.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that the baked potato, I kind of made it a la sort of a McAllister's vegetarian baked potato style with the vegetables on it. That worked really well with the vegetables. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What was Thursday? Oh, and the fajitas were really good too. I mean, like all the weekday ones were like amazing bangers to me. And then dessert-wise, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. In terms of smoothies, the best smoothie was the raspberry smoothie. But my absolute favorite thing, without a doubt, was the chocolate-covered fruit. I absolutely love that.
Mine was definitely, I think the chocolate-covered fruit was one of my least favorite, actually. And yes, that is compared to the banana shake, too, which I was very impressed with the banana shake. I quite like that. I would definitely say that my favorite was that raspberry shake as well.
Yeah. It was amazing doing that banana smoothie because I was so busy that day doing the chips and the lasagna that basically when I got down to the smoothie, it was like, but done. I mean, it was so easy to me by that point because it was the 5th one I made and I didn't have to think about it. And that's kind of where you want to get with stuff. So my recommendation is, whether you're living on a budget or not, the creativity of being able to experiment with new things, learn new things, because when you do these things, you can make yourself better. One of the things I also emphasized on this was eating fruits and vegetables pretty regularly and being able to consume different things. So you don't have to do quite the extensiveness that we did, but at the same time, being able to try and experiment things maybe once a week, do something new like that, I think is a good thing because if you can discover that you can make something really great and then you have that in the future.
I was going to say, surprisingly, I think my least favorite things had to be the potato and the chocolate oatmeal. I was disappointed with the chocolate.
I will say the chocolate didn't work really well in the oatmeal, and I don't think it really worked that well as a shake, honestly. Not that it was bad, but it just didn't work the same way I thought it would. But it worked really well to me the last 2 days as a topping or covered in the fruit. So anyway, so this is it for this week on. We'll be doing another week on next month, or I will. And until then, you can always check out my other videos on my other series as well. So this is the Trojan Pair.
And this is Gale.
Wishing everybody out there blessings and enjoy your meals. Bye-bye.